Welcome to Rockingham Speedway here in Corby for what should be a thrilling encounter of the AIM Technologies Bikesports Championship. The field mainly consists of radicals. The only odd one out is David Palmer in his Spire GT3. Still a very quick car, and around this circuit it's going to get really interesting. So with that, let's get straight into the action. Here's Andy McEwen with race 1.
Thank you, Anthony. Here's how the grid lines up then. It is Lee Torrey and Joe Stables on the front row, ahead of Philip Cooper and Richard Stables, then Joe Locke and Adrian Reynard, ahead of Chris Preen and Doug Carter. Julian Caldwell and Mark Boot are next, then it's Adrian Williams and Robert Rees, Ashley Hicklin and David Palmer, with Charles Adrian and Mark Grayson at the back of the field. The red lights go out, we're away and racing, and it's an evenly matched start from both front row men, but the red and black car from the outside, pole position, Lee Torrey, he will lead through turn number 1, on board with Philip Cooper in third place, but that's Joe Stables going up the inside now, trying to take the race lead back, down into the braking zone of the Dean Hairpin. He's going to go through, so Stables takes the lead back away, and in fact Lee Torrey is rather mugged there, because around the outside goes Philip Cooper into second, so he goes from first to third in one fell swoop, and now Cooper is going for the race lead. Look at that at the inside of Joe Stables, through Chapman, through a Graceland, excuse me, I'll get the right in a minute, Yentwood, then in towards Chapman Curve, and he's not quite going to get through, but this is a very racy Phil Cooper at the start of this first race of 3 this weekend. Remember that Philip Cooper and Joe Stables were the 2 race winners from the opening rounds at Alton Park last time out. We had the opening rounds were supposed to be at Donington Park back at the end of March, but were snowed off. We then went to Alton for 2 races. A triple header though, the usual format here at Rockingham for the first time this season, rounds 3, 4 and 5, and it is already looking like a fairly feisty race. Oh, into the gravel though goes Julian Caldwell, and that's a real shame for Julian, the number 69 car off into the gravel at Gracelands. Now that's certainly the end of his race. That might require a safety car, possibly. I'll have to wait and see. Yellow flags out at that part of the circuit as the leaders descend upon the Brook chicane for the first time, and it's going to be the SR3 radical that leads the way over the PR6 radical of Cooper in second place. The PR6 not quite as quick in a straight line, but maybe a little bit quicker through the corners. As you can see, it's a much smaller profile of that car, and it therefore is a little bit lighter, a little bit more nimble through the twisty stuff. And of course Rockingham has a real mix of both the high-speed flat out sections like the one they're on now, and then the infield section is very tight and technical indeed. So back through the Dean Hairpin they go, and red lights in the distance. Yeah, red flag I fear is coming out. The race is being stopped, and that's as a result of Julian Caldwell's car. There it is in the gravel at Gracelands. So ready for a restart then. Back to the original grid, of course, because we never did complete the first lap. It will still be a 13-minute plus 1 lap encounter, and it's going to be Lee Torrey from the outside of row 1, Joe Stables on the inside, and it was Joe that got the lead, not initially, but down into the Dean Hairpin for the first time on the first attempt at starting this race. Is he going to do the same sort of thing this time around? Let's see. Then on board with Philip Cooper, who was in the mix right from the word go as well before. Down towards the start-finish line they go, and red lights go out. We're away once again, and they really fan out. It's another good start made by Torrey. Not such a rapid getaway this time around though for Joe Stables, and so Cooper will come around the outside and challenge him. That might mean that Lee Torrey is able to hold on to the race lead down towards Dean this time. He defends the inside line. Around the outside will look Joe Stables. They're 3 abreast into the corner. That won't work surely, and it's Phil Cooper that gets hung out to dry. The black and blue car of Joe Locke comes up the inside, but it will still be the same order then. Torrey leads the way, Stables second, Cooper around the outside again though into Yentwood, as they get all a little bit boxed in together. Then through Chapman Curve, but Torrey has been able to hang on. Torrey was on the podium twice at Alton Park. Further back, Mark Boot here, trying to get up the inside of the number 15 car, Robert Rees, and will do so, I think, going through turn 1. Should be able to make that move stick fairly safely as they make their way down into Dean for the second time. Well, no, look at that. Rees came back a bit. In fact, on the inside of him goes Andrew Reynard. So in the end, the place lost there, but that was out of absolutely nowhere. Adrian Reynard, who must have had a bad start because he started 6th, but he's not running 6th anymore. Now goes up the inside into Yentwood to try and get past, to try and get past Robert Rees. Runs wide in failing to make the move stick, and could lose that place straight back again through Chapman Curve. Look at the helmet there, wobbling from side to side. You can see just how vicious the bumps are and how vicious those curbs are too in these low-slung sports prototypes. And it's not a particularly comfortable ride when you go at these sort of speeds this close to the ground, but nicely done there. Makes the place straight back up again past Adrian Reynard, and now sets back off after Robert Rees does Mark Boot. Back out of Gracelands they go, down towards Tarzan. One of the best overtaking opportunities on the circuit. Got the blue and orange car of Doug Carter there in the background, trying to get up the inside now of the 16 car of Ashley Hicklin, who's one of the cars running with a novice cross on the tail of it, meaning he's a relative newcomer to racing. Downwards braking, another look at the inside for Reynard, who'll be a bit miffed about this because he should have been in front of most of these drivers really, but it's just not quite worked out. Big slide though there for Reese in front of him though, and so Mark Booth will try to capitalise on that and keep an eye on Adrian Reynard, because this is where Reynard got a double slipstream a lap ago and tried to pull past the pair of them. Doug Carter there looking to the inside of Hicklin again through turn 1, but can't quite do it there. Down towards the braking zone. Well, Reynard's not close enough, but certainly it looks as though the 26 car Mark Boot is close enough to have a go. Goes around the outside of Robert Reese there on the way in. Doesn't make that one stick, but then Robert runs a bit wide on the exit, and so Boot gets back alongside. But frustratingly, the next 2 corners are right-handers. He continues to go around the outside though, and might just have made the move stick. Can he turn it towards Chatburn? Sort of, misses the apex there. He wasn't quite sure whether Robert Reese was still there, but he wasn't. He'd made the move stick, and Mark Boot finally to really start applying the pressure. This though is for the race lead. Talk about pressure. Lee Torrey has now been caught by Joe Stables and made a bit of a mistake then going through Gracelands. Runs a bit wide at Tarzan as well, and Stables is up the inside line, side by side down towards the chicane, but the inside line is occupied by Lee Torrey, and he will hold on to the position for the time being, but for how much longer? Because Joe Stables is clearly the quicker of the two. He's been able to close down about a 3 or so second advantage. He gets a much better exit from the chicane, gets up the inside across the start-finish line, and now it's a drag race down towards turn number 1. There's blue flags waving for the back marker in front as we go on to the final lap of the race, and Lee Torrey just about seemed to have the grunt in a straight line there to hang on. As long as he gets through the Dean hairpin in the lead, that will be arguably his biggest defensive job done. There's a back marker that means that they both have to go single file anyway into Dean, but Torrey just drifts a little bit wide. Stables, he's clearly quicker through the twisty stuff. They almost trade a bit of paint there as they come out of the corner. Torrey defending in towards Yentwood. Now he might run wide on the exit, which he does, and up the inside will go Joe Stables. He's got the inside line for the next right-hander as well, and he does it. Joe Stables takes the race lead with only just half a lap to go, and can Lee Torrey fight back? Well, the rate at which Joe Stables has been going, you would probably imagine the answer to that is no. Through Kirby, back up the hill they go towards Gracelands, and already it is Stables getting away, but a remarkable climax to what has been a fairly steady race until this point. But Joe Stables has been able to reel in Lee Torrey, and he got there just in the nick of time. There's one more back marker up the road, but I don't think they're quite going to catch it before the checkered flag flies, and so Joe Stables will just have to try and piece together an inch perfect final sector, and he will come home a winner for the second time in succession. He won race 2 at Alton Park last time out, and now he's about to come out of the final corner and see the checkered flag once again to win round number 3 of the AIM Technologies Bikesports Championship. The checkered flag goes to Joe Stables. A fantastic race victory for Joe. Second place goes the way of Lee Torrey, who'll be kicking himself after that one. Third for Phil Cooper, and fourth for Richard Stables ahead of Joe Locke. Chris Preen, Mark Boot, Doug Carter, Adrian Reynard recovers to 9th, and Ashley Hicklin is 10th. Then it is Adrian Williams, Robert Reese, David Palmer, Charles Adrian and Mark Grayson, whilst Julian Caldwell was a non-starter.
Joe Stables, firstly, congratulations, what a race win, and also lap record, you've got to be happy.
Oh, it's brilliant, yeah, I'm chuffed for bits with that. Yeah, can have some more.
Well, Lee, what a race. You started pole, you're leading up until the last lap, but second place still isn't a bad result.
Yeah, I'm fairly happy. Class win for me, so that's okay. Yeah, I was happy for about 3/4 of the race, and then the tyres went off, and Joe is very quick, and I could see him looming up, defended pretty hard, but he found a way through, and yeah, unfortunately it was literally on the last lap, so yeah, my first win eluded me again.
Race number 2 then here at Rockingham about to get underway. Lee Torrey and Joe Stables on row 1 ahead of Philip Cooper and Richard Stables. Then it's Joe Locke and Doug Carter and Adrian Reynard ahead of Chris Preen. Julian Caldwell and Adrian Williams round out the top 10 on a grid based upon the second fastest lap times from qualifying. So Torrey and Stables, row number 1 together again, and this time around is it going to be Torrey that leads down towards turn 1 again? Yes it is, gets a good start. Stables slots into 2nd, Cooper 3rd, then Richard Stables 4th, and here comes Adrian Reynard charging around the outside, trying to make up for the sluggish start start that he made in race number 1. Down towards the Dean Hairpin we go though, and Joe Stables challenging for the lead around the outside line. If he goes right round the outside here, he has the inside down towards Yent, but it doesn't work though, and Philip Cooper could take full advantage, comes up the inside of both of them and leads down towards Yentwood. So Philip Cooper, well, that was all because Joe Stables and Lee Torrey were so preoccupied with each other going through the hairpin that they forgot all about the little radical PR6 of Philip Cooper, who came and dived past the pair of them to take the race lead away. So Cooper leads from Joe Stables third. I think Richard Stables is still fourth as the rest of the field file through. There's Julian Caldwell, the red and yellow number 69 car, just looking to make it round the first lap this time around. And there's David Palmer in the lone spire in the race. But for second place, Joe Stables once again is staring at the rear wing of Lee Torrey's number 78 car as they head down towards the Tarzan hairpin. He looks up the inside line, he goes for it. Brilliant stuff. And Joe Stables goes through, but he runs a bit wide. Torrey will come back at him on the exit. And we know that Lee Torrey's car is pretty rapid in a straight line. He's got the wrong side of the road though, really, down towards the Brook chicane. And so you'd imagine that it will be Stables who retakes the position, which he does. This is all allowing, though, Philip Cooper to pull a gap at the front of the field. So Cooper leads at the end of the opening lap. Joe Stables second, third for Lee Torrey, and fourth for Richard Stables, who already looks a bit racier in this one. And in fact, he's looking to the inside of Lee Torrey as they go down towards turn number 1. Lee just about is able to chop across his bows and defend the position through the banking, but then drifts up high again on the exit of the corner. And so Richard Stables thought about going to the inside line, instead goes to the outside to try and carry maybe a bit more speed off the corner. Again, it's another one of those light and agile PR6s, but he just can't quite make the move stick there. Down towards Yentwood, and Torrey is able to move back across onto the racing line. So Lee Torrey, who will already be frustrated to have lost himself a race victory on the final lap in race 1, not going about race 2 in quite the way that he would need to if he was going to get onto the top step of the podium this time either. Down to third, and Richard Stables is the man applying the pressure more than he is applying the pressure to the car in front of Joe Stables, who already is starting to get away and go after the race leader. So again, 13 minutes plus 1, sorry, 20-minute races, excuse me, the AIM Technologies Bikesports Championship. The previous one was shortened to 13 minutes because of the red flag. This one will run to the full 20-minute duration. There for show, creates an awful lot of downforce and grip, but if you start tweaking with it, you lower the downforce, you increase your straight line speed, but you lose grip through the corners. And maybe that's what Adrian Reynard's done, because the car seems really quick in a straight line, but just really struggling through the corners. Back in towards Chapman, you can see that graphically there. Joe is able to really close in, but then there's nowhere to go. It's all left, right, left, right, left, right through the infield. And so once you get yourself up the inside into one corner, the next corner is probably going the other direction. He's also got to be mindful to an extent of Doug Carter, who's not a million miles behind him. Down into Gracelands again. That is quite a significant drop there into the corner, but again, Joe Lock is significantly quicker through the turn. That is a spin, I'm afraid, for David Palmer in the Spire, who's rotated down at Dean Hairpin. But Joe Stables is going to go through onto his final lap of the race now. So Joe has been able to build up a really sizable margin over this pair, who have not left each other alone. Look, Lee Torrey and Phil Cooper, second and third place, could still change hands before the end of this race. Phil Cooper has shown himself to be a tenacious racer. He won't give in. He won't just accept third place. If there's half a chance of getting second place back, he's going to go for it. And even though they're not fighting for class position, it's still a position on track. It's still a place on the outright podium. So why not go for it? Through Gracelands, back down towards Tarzan goes the race leader. Number 15 car of Robert Rees is probably going to go a lap down before the checkered flag flies, you would imagine. But for Joe Stables, a third win in a row is going to further establish him as the championship leader. I don't think he's quite going to catch Robert Rees by the looks of it. So as Robert comes out of the final corner, he gets to enjoy one more lap of the Rockingham Motor Speedway. Oh no, he doesn't, because Stables just pips him going out of the final corner. So Joe Stables takes the win in race number 2 of the weekend. And second place, I think, will just go to Lee Torrey. This is the battle between Joe Lock and Adrian Reynard. And Joe Lock has now only got really a couple more opportunities to find a way through. The next corner is probably his best chance, and he gets a good run out of Gracelands, pulls himself alongside Reynard down towards the Tarzan hairpin. It's the outside line though. Can he get the switch back, or did he try to go right round the outside? He tries to go right round the outside. He'll carry good speed off the corner as a result of this. Reynard moves over on him though, and Joe Locke has to slow down to avoid the grass, and he's not happy with that. Understandably so, you have to say, because Adrian was, well, we've said that he's been closing the door on people all race long, and that was a bit of frustration there, I think, for Joe, who just breaks himself into the Brook chicane. But it will be Adrian Reynard, in rather robust fashion, who hangs on to what was 6th position, so 7th for Locke and 8th for Doug Carter. So Stables wins with Torrey second, the Class A winner. Phil Cooper is third ahead of Richard Stables and Chris Preen. Then it's Adrian Reynard, Joe Locke, Doug Carter, Mark Boot, and Julian Caldwell rounds out the top 10. Ashley Hicklin is next ahead of Robert Rees, Dave Palmer, Charles Adrian and Mark Grayson, whilst Adrian Williams was our only non-finisher.
Talk through your race.
Well, a bit of a difficult start. I got pushed a bit wide, set into 3rd place. Then managed to get my way through and make my way back to 1st. And after that, I luckily got away.
A bit of a mistake as well in the infield section, wasn't it?
Yeah, coming to the chicane, I locked the wheels up, going sideways, almost lost it, but managed to just get it.
Well done. Can you make it 3 out of 3?
That's what I hope to achieve. That's what I like. Just got to see.
Brilliant. All right, well, for now, go and enjoy it. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Phil Cooper, you started 3rd, you finished 3rd, but you're in 1st for a couple of laps. Decent race, decent result.
Yeah, the first thing is I want to thank K&N and Rock Oil really, because without their support I'd struggle to do it. We worked on the car late last night. We had 3rd yesterday, qualified 3rd in the race. Like I said, we made some changes, we learnt a bit, we improved it then, but not just enough. We had a good start, and I think Joe and Lee were scrapping with each other and we gapped them a little bit, but I could see Joe reeling me in, tried to stick with him. I couldn't, he was quick, and then when Lee got to me, the speed of his car down the main straight, I was trying to get him on the brakes into the hairpin, but no, he was gapping me too much down the straight. So I think he had a few problems towards the end, which made it interesting between me and him, but we need to go and have another think now before the 3rd race and see what we can do again.
Race number 3 then at Rockingham, and it will once again be Joe Stables and Lee Torrey who make up the front row of the grid, with Phil Cooper and Richard Stables row 2. Chris Preen and Adrian Reynard are next, then Joe Locke and Doug Carter, then Mark Boot and Julian Caldwell, Ashley Hicklin and Robert Rees, and the rest filing through as well. So can Joe Stables make it 3 from 3 here at Rockingham? Let's find out. He has to do it from pole position this time, and that's the outside through turn number 1, so he will not lead into turn 1. It will be Lee Torrey for the 3rd time this weekend who will have the lead down towards the Dean Hairpin for the first time, but look who's come through into 2nd place. Adrian Reynard up the inside in the Gulf coloured car was briefly 2nd. He's now 3rd, and Joe Stable goes around the outside of everybody to reclaim the race lead. So as you were then, Joe Stables back in front of the field, but he did not have that easy. So Stables leads, Torrey 2nd, Reynard 3rd and Locke in 4th. So Phil Cooper is the big loser then, from 3rd on the grid down to 5th, but he was trying to do something about that, I think, as they turned into Chapman for the first time. At the front of the field though, it's the 2 black cars, as it has been, or as it was in race 1 at least, with Joe Stables ahead of Lee Torrey. They're doing battle for the race lead, but Lee Torrey's on the grass coming out of Kirby, and that will not help his speed up the hill, and so that will just further cement Joe Stables' position at the front of the field, you'd imagine. Move being made here further back up the inside line, but the leaders turn their way through Graceland. Reynolds still 3rd. Cooper is now back up to 4th, ahead of Locke. Oh no! Back onto the grass is Julian Caldwell. That's the corner where he went off on the first lap in race 1 as well. This time, thankfully, he does not make the gravel, so no need for a safety car or a red flag. He should be able to rejoin from the back of the field. Back on board with Richard Stables. Now, Richard started 4th and for some reason has found himself way down the order. So the man who arrived into this race 2nd place in the Class A Championship standings, with some real work to do in the early stages. Meanwhile, one of the other PR6s, but the Class B example of Phil Cooper there, looking to the inside of Adrian Reynard, but can't quite make that move stick through turn 1. Adrian's car with a little bit more horsepower, but then not quite as good through the corners as we saw in race 2, where he was really struggling to keep the quicker cars behind. Cooper had a look up the inside. The other thing we saw in race 2, though, was that Adrian is not afraid. He sticks resolutely to his line. Whether or not there's a car alongside him or not, Adrian sticks to the racing line. Now that makes him predictable in that they know what he's going to do, but very difficult to pass. Richard Stables isn't having much difficulty passing people though. He's carving his way through the field like the proverbial hot knife through butter. But But this fight for third place is raging on, and again Phil Cooper's up the inside, and this time surely Reynard can't close the door. Well, he tried to, and in fact he did, and again Cooper finds himself on the curb and losing traction as a result. So Adrian Reynard, proving to be harder to pass than a kidney stone, is not going to give this third place up without one hell of a fight. So down into Tarzan they go once again, with Reynard still in that third position. Richard Stables is now the inside though of Mark Boot. So two PR6s together here. And it will be Boot who holds on, but Stables looks to the inside into Brook, and I think we'll make it stick there. Third place battle comes back onto the banking again, and Phil Cooper once again with that traditional tight line that he always seems to take to try and maximise the power down the pit straight. Get on the loud pedal as early as possible and in as straight a line as possible, because if you're accelerating with the front wheels turning from one side to the other, if you have steering lock on, that creates drag and scrub against the tarmac, and so you don't accelerate out of the corner quite as well. Plenty of grip under braking there though for Richard Stables, who picks up another position. So Joe Locke is now the next man to come under pressure from the person who's finished fourth in both of the races so far this weekend. Richard Stables, here he is, turning through Chapman. Hickling gets himself back to the head of this train. In fact, it's 9th place they're fighting over, not 11th. So 9th, 10th and 11th place cars here. And Ashley Hickling, very often in racing, when one driver finds a way through past another, then the car that just lost a position tends to sort of lose a bit of pace, lose a bit of focus, but not Ashley Hickling. He was straight back up the inside and got the place back immediately. So through the left-hander at Gracelands they go, and fast running out of time. In fact, I believe we might be about to go on to the final lap, so time running out for everybody to try and make their moves. Doug Carter has it all to do again now. There's the race leader, Joe Stables. Now, where is Lee Torrey? Lee Torrey has suddenly disappeared, and I don't know quite where he's gone. No, he's still there. He's in second place, but he's about 11 seconds back. So Lee Torrey, who had been all over the rear end of Joe Stables' Radical SR3, has all of a sudden had a moment somewhere, presumably, and dropped an awfully long way back. So that means that Joe Stables is actually going to have it a little bit more easy than we expected. Back up through Yentwood and Chapman he goes, and it doesn't look as though he is going to be beaten in this one. He uses all of the curb there through Piff Paff down into Kirby and back up the hill towards Gracelands, where he's not going to be headed. Look at that, there's no sight of Torrey behind. I can tell you he did cross the line about 11 seconds back that time around, so he's going to have to settle for second. He's still about 12 seconds ahead of Philip Cooper though, so shouldn't lose that second place. But it could have been so much more for Lee Torrey. Stables though comes out of the right-hander at Tarzan, and it is going to be win number 3 of the day and win number 4 of the season for Joe Stables. Turns his way out of the final corner, up towards the start-finish line, and the checkered flag will be waiting. There it is, Joe Stables wins round number 5 of the AIM Technologies Bikesports Championship. Second goes to Lee Torrey, third Phil Cooper, and fourth Richard Stables, with Joe Locke 5th. Then is Adrian Reynard, Chris Preen, Mark Boot, Ashley Hickling, and Robert Rees rounds out the top 10. Doug Carter dropped to 11th by the end, ahead of Adrian Williams and Julian Caldwell. David Palmer and Charles Adrian and Mark Grayson were a lap down, whilst Lee Torrey sets the fastest lap, and it was a new lap record.
Joe, clean sweep. What a weekend it's been. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Firstly, I want to say thanks to my dad. Couldn't have done it without him. Helped me prep the car. Helped me for letting it happen, really. It's been a great weekend.
Yeah. You've run away with it pretty much. Well, I wouldn't say run away with it. It's been a tight battle with the second place. You're not in a tuned car, which makes it even more special.
Yeah, exactly. That's the part about it. That's what we were coming to do, to win it in a standard car.
Yeah, and you get in there, as this weekend proves. So well done. Go and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Lee, what a weekend it's been. 3 podiums. Congratulations. You've got to be happy.
Yeah, overall happy. I think in the third race, I was giving it everything, and I pulled Joe in, got to him, and just got a little bit too close. Bit of aero, lost a bit of aero on the car, and round we went. So but still able to recover, and still was in second. So yeah, be happy.